working with
You met me as a general manager with NPR.
Steven.
Yeah, Steven is
the name, and I think the bigger lesson in all of that is they knew they could do things. This is Vibe Your Vibe, and I have Brill Laventure.
Yeah, he's close. It's Laventure.
Laventure. Okay, so we'll do that again because I want to get it right.
It's okay, because you know why? If you're from the Caribbean, you would say Laventure.
Laventure.
Yeah, but you
like
said
a CH, almost.
It's Laventure.
Okay, so we've got Brill here, and I invited him on because I know Brill from working with Five Guys, NPR. Known him probably now, I guess going on 5
to 6 years.
5 to 6 years, like just a little bit before COVID happened. Then COVID happened, and then I've been working with the NPR group doing social videos, training, all kinds of different things, helping them out. Talking with Brill. And I'll get to him just 1 minute, doing this kind of a long introduction, is we have this, I kind of like reinventing what I'm doing. So part of what I want to do is I created essentially I guess I'll call it a product. And the product is Authority Method. So that's the name I'm calling it. And what I want to do is help people get authority, because when I sit back and think even about myself and my own journey, what is my biggest challenge? My biggest challenge is going to be obscurity. I wrote a post on it on Medium some time back. And nobody knows about me. Nobody knows what I can do. Nobody knows what I know. And how do we break through obscurity? And part of that is through authority, establishing your authority. How can you establish your authority? Well, you can go on podcasts and you can do speaking engagement, which Brill has done. And so that conversation with Brill was kind of about, hey, I'm wanting to do this new thing, and I need some people so I can have some case studies put together. You want to be part of it? And he said, I'm down. So he was actually wanting to talk to me even before that, because he knows what I've done with NPR. But so that's kind of why he's here. Is he's going to be almost my perfect case study, because he doesn't have a brand yet. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about, is, talk about Brill, talk about his story, find out what caused him to get to where he is right now. So I'm going to hand it over to Brill. Just give me a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just kind of have a casual conversation here and just trying to draw things out.
Most definitely. One of the things that you said in your introduction is the fact that you are somewhat reinventing yourself. And that's one of the things that... after a few conversations, and you said that to me, and then I was like, well, that's basically what I really wanted to speak to you about, because I'm in the process of trying to reinvent myself, because you met me as a general manager with NPR, working my way to become a district manager and then soon to be owner, which, by the way, I did send that email out. And naturally, it rattled a few cages, but expectedly. But everything's working out, to be honest, better than I thought it would have worked out. Okay, because it was well received. And I could honestly say that before the next quarter, I'll officially be a partner with TSH Enterprise.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay.
And here's the thing, they can't read your mind.
No.
They don't know where you're at. That's one of the things I think it wasn't a post, it was actually a comment I put. I was referencing my mother when my father died. And she's like, I'm trying not to get emotional, sorry. why are they treating me so poorly? And they weren't treating her poorly at all. Maybe they weren't treating her the best they could. The reality is they were not treating her poorly. They were probably at best just flat. And I go, they don't know that your world is crushing around you. They have no idea.
They don't
the
know.
Man you spent 50 plus years with is gone. And you're just falling apart. And that kind of goes to what you're saying. They have no idea that you want this. No. You have to actually put it out there. And if you're not willing to be brave enough, you don't need permission.
Right.
You don't need to ask permission, but you got to be you, and you got to put it out there and let them know.
One of the things that I've learned.
And look, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy.
And one of the things that I've learned, and I guess it's through my wife as well, because she was, and I mean that in the strongest possible way, she was so introverted. She's the kind of person that would just be like, oh, well, she'll be in a crowd and you wouldn't even know that she's there. And when we first met, her and I, we were the total opposite. I'm the outgoing, I'm the dude. I want to be seen, I want to be this, I want to be that. But I've learned through her is the fact that while she was being in the background, looking and watching, she was learning. She was pointing out, without literally pointing things out, but in her mind, she was like, okay, boom, this person right here, I wouldn't even give this person the conversation, but just to be kind, I'd say hi and keep walking. But later on in years, I've learned that my wife, throughout, and we've been together for almost 15 years now, I'm married, I'm learning from her, and she's learning from me, because now she's my backbone. She's the one that's been behind me as far as since we first started dating each other. Any position that we've gotten in the workforce, in a very nice, competitively way, she'd be here, and then I'd be like, well, you're here, I gotta get here, because I'm the man, I have to support the family. And then I'm here, everything's going great, a couple of years down the line, she's here. And then we're looking at each other, it's like, well, now I bought this. Naturally, it's not like a bickering way, but in a friendly, trying to support each other.
Not really even a competitive way. It's like, let's level up.
Right.
This is the whole, rising tide rises all boats, right? So, hey, I'm rising my boat. Brill,
exactly.
Let's go, man. She's not doing it to disparage you or anything like that. She's just like, let's go.
Let's go.
Right.
Where she...
A lot of the husbands might look at that and go, oh, man, this ain't right.
It's not like that with us, though. It
Right.
really is. And
my wife just leveled up recently.
Okay, so it's
so
a good thing.
I'm very happy about that. Yes, of course.
I remember one time we had a conversation. It was probably 7 years ago. We had a conversation. We lived now we live in Port St. Lucie, but we live literally right up the block from you right now, from where we are right now, right off of Lantana.
Oh, okay.
And then we had an argument. The argument was, why did you take this car? Because I like to drive this car better than that car. My thing was, okay, I just took the first car that was in the driveway because the other car was blocking me. And then I came home from work, and then I told her, I'm like, babe, I know you're upset, but off topic. Remember 5 years ago today, we would have loved to have had this conversation, this argument that we had this morning.
Right. Because we had one car. We had one car and we were having to share.
We didn't have a driveway to put the cars in.
Right.
Okay? So and she's like, you know what? That's a great argument to have. And then 5 years down the line, we moved out of Boynton. We moved to Port St. Lucie. Now we have 3 cars in our driveway. One we're not even using. We give to grandma. Up until 2 months ago, she went out and bought herself a brand new car. Now we have 4 cars. Last week we had an argument. There's too many cars in the driveway. We need to get rid of them, And it's like, wow.
Right.
And that's just because we've been at each other, getting each other better at life, being supportive, And that's what really started that whole the email that I sent a few weeks ago. It's like, and again, just like you mentioned earlier, it's not like I'm not being taken care of. But like you said, there's a lot going on in my life that they don't really know. And it's not their business to know, but I feel like I need to level up. I've gone to a certain level where I feel as I continue my journey with NPR or TSH, am I building my dream or am I building their dreams? So that's why I wanted to segue into doing my own thing, without taking away from what I'm doing with them. But
Sure.
I wanna.
It's still going to have to be second seat.
Right. But
I mean, if you talk to Dan, he's like, NPR, TSH, that's still number one.
Which is understood.
Right.
But I got to start focusing on.
At the same time, though, it's great working with people that understand that you have these desires to do maybe a little bit more.
It is,
and they're like, that's okay. You can go build that, but just remember, we're number one.
We're number one, which naturally,
if we call, it's number one. But I mean, that's understandable. But it's just the fact that they're open to it.
And that's one of the things I appreciate about NPR, now TSH, is the fact that when 2 years after I started with them, I told them, that's going to be my last job. And even, I don't know, I don't care what happens. I've said it, it's going to be my last job. Like, I don't want to have to work for anybody anymore, Whether I told Mike and Dan this 2 weeks ago, I'm like, whether I quit or you guys get rid of me, this is going to be my last job. It's like, honestly.
Yeah. You like it.
I like it. I like everything about it.
I think you're good at it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, you've worked with Steven for how long now?
Oh my gosh.
And look how much he's grown.
And can I tell you one of the things that and even Steven knows this as well. And I tell him this up until last week.
I guess we should tell people they don't know who Steven is.
Yeah, well, Steven is currently my assistant at Hugh McGoon.
He's number 2 there at the store.
Yeah. And he was, from working with Steven from the Gardens location, by far the hardest person I've ever had to deal with.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not. Yes. But
that's interesting.
It was a challenge that I did not want to give up on, because I saw it as more challenges I take, the more I grow.
Right.
And at first it was annoying. I got aggravated, but then I'm like, no, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm approaching things in a way that may not
That's interesting.
That's not making sense to him. So I started looking into how I can be a better service to him in ways that he may not even know. To the point 4 or 5 years later, now he's thanking me for being patient with him. He's thanking me for opening up his eyes to see things that he didn't think was around, So and lately, this is how I approach everything that I do in life. Once it gets difficult, I'm not the person that's going to try to run away from it. Maybe I understand it differently. Maybe I need to look at it in a different pair of eyes and see if I could conquer it differently, And while I'm going through that journey, I'm learning. And throughout all of this, and I always say this, whether you know it or not, people are watching you. People is learning from your journey without you knowing.
Oh, for sure.
So why not be the best example possible?
Right. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, this is kind of where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. It makes sense to share that journey.
Yes.
Because your impact is going to be far greater.
Oh.
If you're able to share that journey, build that authority, and impact even more.
Yes. And that's another reason why I want to start focusing on me and sharing my journey, because the more anything that you go through in life, at your age, you're a young boy, right?
I still feel like I'm like that, 20, not even 25, like that 22, 23-year-old
now,
adult man.
Imagine you telling your 23-year-old, you at 23-year-old, the things that you've been through at your age right now, how to prevent the stuff that you've been through to accomplish what you are.
Oh, and 100%. And I mean,
and
I didn't read nearly enough. And unfortunately, with my challenges reading and comprehension, I don't know that I mean, I'm sure they had audiobooks, but they were, I think, not as accessible as they are today. And my little, what's the superpower when it comes to reading is I buy the physical book. I buy the audiobook. Sometimes I might listen to the audiobook first, but then I go and I read it with the audiobook and the physical book. I might even read it a third time and then I highlight it. I might highlight it the first time. But those are the three things. So I go through and highlight it. Drives my wife crazy. She was like, you highlighted because she'll read my same books. You highlight like 5 pages in a row, every line. Like, what's the point of that? And I'm like, but babe, that's how it works for me. That's how it works for me. And then I'll actually go back with a pen. I like to use highlighter first. Then I'll go back with a pen and I'll even underline some more when I go back over it again. So it's that what is it? Kinesthetic?
Kinesthetic.
I think that, I'm not sure I'm saying that word right, but anyway, it's that physical movement of my hand, highlighting or underlining the physical book with the vision of having it in front of me, and then the audio.
Like the puzzle comes together for you.
And for whatever reason, when I do it that way, it connects, and I get through books. I mean, I've literally read since December, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 books. That's awesome. And I blow through them. That's awesome. If there was anything to tell that 23-year-old, for me,
read more, huh?
Read a lot more. Because even if it doesn't land for you, right? It's okay. You get to see how somebody else views it. But maybe that opens your eyes to some other thing that you would not have had any idea about.
This is what I say to a lot of people that does not read, is the fact that what happened with me is when I started reading, a lot of the things that I was reading didn't make any sense. Because it was like, oh, well, this person has nothing to do with my life and this, that, and the other. But then at my age, I'm 50-something, it's the fact that I can remember something that I might have read 10 years ago that made an impact in my life today. But because I read it back then, for some reason or another, like I remember, I'm like, wow, that's right. I remember this thing that I read and this is making sense. Or I might be living something that I read from Dave Ramsey or John Maxwell or somebody else from 3 or 4 years ago that might not have made sense at that point of time when I read it, but a few years down the line, I'm like, oh, wow, that's right, you know? So you
weren't ready. You weren't quite ready.
You weren't quite ready for it yet, but when the time comes, it'll automatically comes in your forefront and it'll make sense. You'll know how to navigate through whatever situation that you're in currently because it's something you read years ago. And that's why I said I want to engage with a lot of kids, or not just kids, but with people generally. Because I feel, thanks to Dan, he kind of helped me, and he didn't even know my story.
Oh, really?
He really didn't even know my story. He knew very little about my story. And then he invited me to something, and he just wanted me to share my life, to explain to these kids how I went from becoming a regular employee with Five Guys to being a GM at Five Guys. And then at that moment in time, I guess I was going through some...
So that was the story that Dan expected you to share.
Right.
Then you shared your real story.
And then I shared my real story. And when I shared my real story, he said, whoa, Brill, you need to share that more.
That's the story you really need to share.
Yes. He was like, whoa, Brill, that's what you need to.
That's strong.
And he says, and then when I shared it, it was not practice. It was my life. I didn't know how to say it any other way than I just said it.
Right.
And from then on, it's like, wow, you need to share more. And I've always wanted to share, but at a point, I was somewhat embarrassed of it But then my wife tells me all the time, it's you. It's the part of
It's part of you.
who you became. You became who you are now because you went through it.
Right.
You knew how to, I mean, you've learned from even the situation that I was in. I was learning how to be me. You know, it's a growth process. And the thing is, how dare you not share it to prevent others from going through the same mistakes?
So how does your family feel about that?
Naturally, throughout that whole situation, they weren't happy, naturally, but now.
I mean, it's not super public right now, but
no,
it's
not super
soon,
public right now.
soon to be.
It's most definitely going to be.
Is he still, you could, I mean, I know a lot about Brill, so I have to remember the audience may not know that much. Brill's father was a pastor, a minister.
Right. Correct.
Is he still a minister or is he retired?
He is with heaven right now. He's with.
Oh, I'm
he's
sorry.
with the Lord. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Both my parents passed. You know.
Okay.
But before they passed, we've all made peace with it, and we all understood. It was to the point where.
So had you started with NPR at that point?
Not
yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. But
you were working in the restaurant and you were turning it around.
Yeah, I was already working in a restaurant. My father was of old age. I moved my dad down here with me, and we were great. My mom moved down.
And he knew your wife?
Knew my wife and all of that. And my life was transitioning.
That's good.
While they both passed. But it was...
Yeah.
I was happy to be able to show my parents that the person that they thought I was when I got into my situation is not who I am now. And they saw the change, you know. So
that's cool. That's good to know.
It was great. And ironically, one of the other reasons why I want to keep doing this is because, like you mentioned, my dad was a preacher. And I don't know if I'm going to become a preacher, but if I could go up on the stage and tell people about my life and how I changed my ways to be the person that I am today, I guess that's somewhat of a preacher.
Sure.
You know?
Well, you do go to church every week.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious. So there's no desire maybe
in the ministry
to get involved a little bit more in the ministry, or maybe more public?
This is with my... Okay, family and I, we're currently going to a church that's near the house, and my wife is not comfortable with that church, so I don't want to, we don't want to involve ourselves too much with the church up until we find a church that's more comfortable with my wife, because as everybody know, happy wife, happy life.
No, I don't believe that at all. I think it's happy king, happy kingdom.
Okay, I like that.
I think it does go hand in hand, though.
Right.
I mean, come on. I mean, like for me, I actually converted to Catholicism because she felt strongly about Catholicism. I felt strongly about Christianity, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Does the flavor really matter that much?
Right,
I'm okay.
right.
I'm not that picky, and I have my own beliefs anyway. And as long as that works out, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's. I think it was important for me. It was important. I don't know how families do it that are like, say, Jewish and Christian or two different religions. But I felt pretty strong. What I felt strongly about is that we were united.
That's what matters.
And we brought the kids up united. The kids were brought up in the church.
That's what
they all three had their first communion, had their confirmations. Unfortunately, I mean, they're not very participative today, but they did have that upbringing. And I think I don't know. Some people might not like hearing this, but I think sometimes too much involvement in church it gets a little weird. I think there's a lot of fundamental life lessons that are very important to learn that, I think regardless of the religion, I don't think the flavor doesn't necessarily matter, but raising your kids in that environment really helps.
My dad used to say this: foundation is important. the right foundation to what dynamic you got going on in your family, that's what matters, the foundation. Forcing anything on anybody is never good. Again, I'm a great example. I'm the kid that every Sunday, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday, every Wednesday, I don't care what you're doing, you're going to be in the church doing something. Okay? To the point where it was like, okay, now you're forcing this thing down my throat. I'm going to rebel. Okay?
Right.
Because it was too much, too much, too much. It was not my choice. It was, why am I doing this? Because dad and mom wants me to do this. It should be my choice. Okay, and like I said, foundation. Put the foundation down and let the person or the kid make their own choice as they become young adults and this, that, and the other. But with me, it was more like, I was more like looking for a way to rebel against what my parents were telling me.
Well, that's always the case too. I mean,
know?
we were pretty adamant about the kids making it through confirmation within the Catholic Church. And then after that, we're like, you guys are all adults. You're going to have to make your own choices. Yep. And
you do what's best.
And I feel that it's a little bit different, but I've always been with my kids. I want them, before they decide not to do something, I always want them to be at least proficient in it.
Right.
Because it sucks to suck.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's no fun. And so as a parent, I always like to push the kids to at least be proficient. Like I pushed the girls to get their black belts. They ended up on their own. So they got their black belts under their dad with the World Taekwondo Federation.
There you go.
Then they went out on their own and got the American Taekwondo Federation, and they got another couple of black belts that way. And then the oldest one actually toyed around with jiu-jitsu till she was grappling and hurt her knee. But then she got kind of into the boxing. So, they all were active and they all were proficient. They never, and I was like surprised that they decided to pick up the karate on their own.
See, that's what you want.
But I laid the foundation. And I think the bigger lesson in all of that is they knew they could do things. Mm-hmm. Right? They knew they had that proficiency. They knew maybe they're not good right now, but if I stick with it, I can get better. And that goes for the church too. I mean, in a sense. So, and you said you rebelled, but then, maybe not so much. I mean, no. Your dad obviously laid down some foundation there that I guess it got back to you eventually.
It got back to me. Right. Can I tell you, when I say I rebelled to the point where I say, if it wasn't because of the foundation that my parents put in me, I wouldn't have been here right now, because I went far left.
Off the rails.
And I was even searching different religions, not to say to look to better my faith. I was looking for different religions to try to prove them wrong. And then you know what happened? Through everything that I've looked at, it was just like, oh, well, they believe the same thing. You know what? All right, let me try a different religion. Well, they believe the same thing. You know what? Let me try. I went through Israelites, Buddhism, Judaism. I went to 40. I was an Israelite for about 6 months. I thought I was, rather, but I was going to the churches. My younger brother currently is Jehovah's Witness. Every week or every other week, we have different talks about, his belief and my belief in this, that, and the other. And it's like, you're still my brother. We believe the same thing. You know? My sister, every now and then.
I guess the overarching belief is enough similar that.
Right. And the thing
you believe in something that's beyond.
Exactly.
I guess at the most basic level.
That's why I said, like, currently, I don't believe in religion.
Don't believe in religion?
I don't believe in religion. Because, and I went through everything I went through. Okay, I was incarcerated. And throughout my incarceration, all I kept thinking was, man, the man up above really need me to come back. Because he knows what I was doing, and he knows that I know him. But for whatever reason, he's letting me go through this so that I can come back. And he's like, I'm gonna whoop him. I'm gonna let him think he knows what he's doing. And then when he has no other choice but to look up and look for me, I'm still gonna be here for him. You know?
Right. If you get low enough, hit bottom.
Yeah, it's like
you had your rock bottom was probably a little bit lower than a lot of other folks.
A lot of most. But but it's like reality check, buddy. There is something higher out there that's controlling everything, and it's not you.
Right.
So you want to still try? You're gonna try to get out of that hole by yourself? Good luck. Where has it gotten you so far?
Interesting.
You know, so it's like, yeah. So like currently I'm doing the groundwork with the kids. And my thing is, like you said earlier, I plan to let them experience things, but I want to lay down the groundwork, give them the foundation. Because one of the things my daughter right now is going through, my 10-year-old, we sort of cushion her too much. And she's not afraid to try things, but she would rather not.
Is she the oldest?
No. Well, you know my other daughter, my 27-year-old.
Right, but we're talking about at home.
At home, yes.
Right now, she's the oldest.
She's the oldest. And she is, something as simple as food. She hasn't had it, she's not going to try it. Okay? She's not scared of it, but she would rather not. Meanwhile, my 6-year-old, he'll do a backflip without knowing what a backflip is, and then fall, bust his butt, and be like, oh, okay, well, I won't do that again. You know? So I plan, and I want to have them experience life, because I don't want my kids to go through life not ever going through any kind of failure, because to me, without failure, you won't ever succeed truly.
Right. Yeah, we found that out today.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I was having a lot of problems with the kit and trying to get it to work. And I mean, we're not going live today because I wanted just to kind of see what happens when we have the auto switching going on. And I do see that it seems to be working fairly well right now. I kind of like how it's working. So that's the plan. I roll kind of thin on team, and I'm solo, and that's going to be my intent. So I'm going to St. Louis next week, and my intent is to bring the studio and bring the kit, and I guess I'm going to need to bring the boom and everything.
That's the crew.
That's the crew. And so I have this little piece of equipment that's going to help me do the auto switching when we go live. And so the other team that supports me, they'll handle the changing of the cameras and everything when they do the post edit. But and I'm still trying to figure it all out. I don't know what the answers are, but we're just going to go. We're doing it. Just like we're sitting down with Brill right now. We had no script. The only script we know is that Brill's wanting to kind of reinvent himself and put himself out there, and so am I. So that's what we're kind of both here together, trying to help each other. One of the questions I guess I had, and you mentioned it briefly, was you're wanting to go on stage. And part of that is, I guess, was it attending that Day to Grow? Was that kind of the genesis of that, or was there something before that? So Day to Grow is the John Maxwell event that we both did. We go to that? We went together. That's right. Yeah,
we went together. We the John Maxwell thing has been another reminder of why I need to hurry up and get on stage. But that's been something that's been in the back burner for a little while. I've joined another group like probably 4 or 5 years before the John Maxwell, and it's always been. I've always been putting it on the back burner, as in, okay, well, when I get a chance, when I have the time, when I have a little bit of money, and then after joining in John Maxwell, it was more like, dude, you said that 5 years ago. You said that 3 years ago. You said that 2 years ago. You're 52. When is it going to be time?
Right.
You know? And then...
The time's never...
Exactly.
The time's never right.
Exactly. So when I went to the John Maxwell, I think when we went together, that was my second time going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went again with you, and then coming home, my wife was like, how was it? And I love my wife. She's never going to push me to do anything that she really wants me to do while she's pushing me to do everything that she wants me to do. You know? Because she wants it to be my decision. Because she knows once I'm passionate about something, I'm going to give 150% of it.
Right.
On it. You know?
Yeah,
And
you got to see that a little bit of the KF working today.
okay. So,
I was getting really frustrated with the glare and the TV, and the lighting wasn't right. And I mean, it's still not what I would like, but let me tell you, this is a lot better than it was going to be. So, but yeah, I get it. I understand. Like,
she tells me, she's
when
like,
you're on, you're on.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, babe, I love you regardless, but usually when you're passionate about something, you excel. And I'm like, and she says, you've been talking about this for about 5 to 7 years now. Just do it. So we went skydiving a few years back. And then 2 weeks after that, we found out that she was pregnant with my youngest. And since then, the game plan is to go skydiving. One of my main things for going skydiving is because I feel that going skydiving is overcoming whatever fear that whatever it is that you're going
So you do it with your wife?
Yeah. I did
wow.
I've done it once with my wife, but I've done it.
Like how many jumps do you have?
Like not much, like 4, 3.
Okay.
4. Right. But I always want to, every time I feel uneasy about something or going through something in life that I don't know if I should or I shouldn't.
I had no idea you did that.
I jump just because I feel that as you're exiting the door.
So are you going solo now? Or you have to do more jumps?
No, you need a lot more jumps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like flying a plane. You have to, you know?
So you're going to have to do tandem jumps for a while before you go solo.
Right. But I enjoy doing it because to me is as soon as you jump, then you realize, wow, it wasn't that bad. And then there's so much more opportunities after you jump. But before you jump, you making everything up that could go wrong, that possibly, it's like, forget about the negative possibility. How about all the positive possibility that's awaiting you?
That's interesting. So I just recently read a book. I bought a copy of it for Dan. I'll get a copy for you too because I really like it. It's called The Power of Now.
The Power of Now.
Eckhart Tolle. And in that book, it talks a little bit about, why do people go and jump out of airplanes, or why do people go and ride motorcycles knowing how dangerous those activities are? Why do people go scuba dive? I've gone scuba too. I've not jumped out of a plane yet. The thing I wanted to do was a balloon ride, but still the plane jumping thing is and what he says is it gets you like so close to the source. Source meaning whatever you want it to be. What I like about Eckhart Tolle is he's not trying to replace your religions. He's trying to enhance it.
Yep. And
trying to help you get even closer to it. And so what happens when you're in those kinds of activities, I'm probably quoting it horribly. Sorry, Eckhart, but it moves you really close to where you have a better connection because it strips away all the BS that's going around. Yeah. The thing for the motorcycle for me though is you got so much happening that you've got so much concentration. I don't know about jumping out of, I guess you have somewhat in the jump. I've never done it, so I don't know. But
do have some
you're watching, I guess, an altimeter. You're watching, I guess, a clock. You got to pack your chute. You got to be super focused on what you're doing.
Literally, your first couple, well, all your jumps, but especially the first one, you literally have to basically take a class before you actually see the chute, okay? And then when packing it, you have to pack it with the partner that's jumping with you, and you have to. It's not like you go into the airplane, you jump. No, you have to at least 3 or 4 hours before you actually jump. Go into the plane to get up there, and but it's good. Just do it.
It's like the scuba. I really like the scuba. I got Elena to do 3 dives.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 dives. Down. I got her down to 30 feet. We went with my scuba instructor. She's technically not certified. They did it as a, what do they call it? Like a explorer. I mean, literally she held the hand of my instructor the entire time. My instructor took care of the BCD, I think they call it. It's been so long since I scuba. I need to go again. And, the instructor I was with, she just glides through, and she wants to go down. She's so smooth. It's just, she's like, she's just in her element. She's had, I think at that time, I think it was over 1,500 dives. And she's only in her early 20s or mid 20s at the most.
What?
Yeah, I know. She travels the world diving. She's an instructor. So she's the one that taught me, and I just loved it. And I was actually down in Honduras. Talk about timing. I was down in Honduras. I got let go from my job, and it's like, fine. So now I was planning to be here and for like a month. So I'm just I was gonna get my basic, but I think I got like maybe 3, maybe 4 certifications. I did a night certification. I did nitrous certification, and I think there's like 2 levels, and the people that are running the dive place, he's like, you just need to go get dives now. You're good. You don't need to worry about the next levels. And I think I also took like a CPR class from him too, so I got that as well. Yeah. And I did a night dive. That was really cool. My wife couldn't believe I did a night dive, like in the dark. I mean, everybody turns their lights off, and you're down there. And that's the thing. It's like I was like the motorcycle, and like the jumping out of the airplane is you've got to focus on your depth gauge. You got to focus on your time. You got to focus. Like, I bought a computer because it was too much for me to figure out. So I had a computer that, if I'm ascending too fast, it'll beep at me. Stuff like that. You got to be sure that you breathe out. And then I did have a moment where I got like hyperventilating, and Sally, my instructor, was awesome. She's just like, slow it down, just breathe in, breathe out. And it was just amazing experience. I mean, for me, it's probably the same experience as like you had when you jumped out of the plane. And I think I had about 7 or 8 dives in. So quite a few dives just through the class and stuff. Then I did the 3 dives with my wife. And I probably have 7, 8 dives. And then the thing that ruined it is I didn't shave my mustache. And I went to go dive. I hired an instructor to go with me. I'm smart enough. I'm still, I'm green. It's because it's super dangerous. It's crazy dangerous. Something that happens, 30 meters down, you're screwed, right? I usually don't go. I think I got the certification. I think that's the furthest deep you can go is maybe, 100 feet, 30 meters, or whatever it works out to be. But usually I'd be like, because I did the shipwreck thing too. I dived the shipwreck. Yeah, I think that might have been another certification. I don't know. They're all expired now. I have to redo them all. But anyway, I feel like that's I think that's why people do that kind of stuff, or climb mountains. Maybe that's why they climb in the mountain, and just gets you closer. It clears your mind.
It does. It for me, I know after I've jumped, I see things differently. I see things in a different perspective. It's like, it's no longer about what I'm going through, but it's more about how can my experiences help others? It's no longer why am I so fearful about anything it is that I might partake in.
Getting on the stage.
Getting on the stage. I was, oh my gosh, me getting on this, look, small story, little quick story, right? And you know this. I involved myself in the music industry for a little while, but ironically, as much as others people may think, oh yeah, even Dan said it one time with Bill when we were recording something, and then Dan was like, oh no, you should be. It should be easy for you because you used to do music. But what no one knew is the fact that we did music, but I was always the backup guy. I wanted to be on stage back then, but I would never be the main guy, So a little bit of me was always fearful of being on stage. But now it's no longer about me being afraid of the stage. It's more like I need to share my life to help others,
Right.
So it's like, forget about my fear. That's I could overcome that easily, although I did, but that's not even important anymore, but it's everybody else's importance, so that's why I look at things differently, because once I'm up there and I see everything under me as if I'm closer, and I'm like, little old me with all of this happening, and I'm worrying about this little thing. I'm worried about little old me. And then I want everybody in the world to have this experience that I'm having right now, as if jumping out of an airplane, to look at things in my eyes, understanding things the way I understand it. It helped me deal with people in a different ways that I didn't, because I'm a very, I don't want to say, well, I'm not a perfectionist by any means, but I know you can't do the things that I can do the way that I want them done. I had to come to that conclusion with myself, especially with someone like Steven, where it doesn't matter how much I try to teach him to move this glass, for example. When he moves it, he's never going to move it the same way that I would move it. So I had to get out of my own self to be like, okay, let me try to teach Steven how to move the glass the best way works for him. That's acceptable to me, So it was more like, okay, let me help John be the best possible version of himself that he can possibly be. Then I'm happy with it. Instead of me trying to tell Dave, this is how I want this. No. How is that bettering Dave or John or Steven, So.
Right. I think it goes back to kind of something that we learned in Scouts is it's called the EDGE method when you train. So, and for all your Scouters out there, I might not get this right, but it's EDGE. So the first is, I think, educate. So you educate. The second letter D is for demonstrate. So you can demonstrate it. The G is for guide. So you're going to guide them. So they're going to do it. So you educate them, you show them, then you guide them. And then the E, I'm going to mess this one up. This is where I'll probably mess it up. But I want to say it's encourage. So then you encourage them. You can do this. You got it. I explained how to do it. I showed you how to do it. I guided you through doing it. Now you're ready. I mean, it may not happen that fast, obviously, but
yeah.
But like you're saying, and it just, all the experiences come together. Just, this is what blows my mind. You think about your path. Like, so another person that was a mentor of mine is Peter Hurley. He's the person I took the courses from to learn how to take headshots. And he's like, I can show you every setting, everything that I'm doing. And he would equate it to an apple pie. I can share you my apple pie recipe, and you can follow it to the T. But your apple pie is going to taste different than mine. You can use the same apples from the same tree, and it doesn't matter. It's going to be different. And I think that's kind of, you're talking about moving the glass. I'll show you how to exactly move the glass. You can follow the recipe, but you're still going to end up moving it different.
Yep. It's never going to be the same because
it's going to be close. It's still going to be good.
Yeah.
And because you're following his recipe, it's going to be like if you're at Yui's and you're following the recipe on how to make the chicken, overall, it's going to be good.
It's going to be good, but.
Right. But I'm guessing different people making the chicken there, you probably, I wouldn't be able to tell.
Yep.
I may not be able to tell.
But I will.
But you could be there and you could tell, oh, Steven's the one back making this, or Dave's making it, or whatever, it's Mike back there doing it.
I would go in the store on a day. Let's say I was off today. I was off. Tomorrow I'm going in. I would go in the store, and before even touching anything, I could determine this person was working in this station. That person worked that station. Okay, when we do get a customer complaint. Depending on what the complaint was, I know who was working that night. Like, automatically. Because what a lot of them finally come to the conclusion is that I pay attention a little bit too much. So I know, being that I've done everything in the store and I've worked every department, so when something's not done my way, I pretty much have a pretty good idea who's done it depending on which way it's done.
So interesting. You said if it's not done your way. So how are you leading different than say Mike? Because you didn't say it was done Mike's way.
Well, okay. Mike, as an owner, he's not as hands-on as I am. Okay.
He's more broad strokes.
Right. Correct. But I'm in there way more than Mike is.
Sure.
So when something's wrong with the oil, I'll figure it out before Mike does. I'll report it to Mike, naturally. But when something's wrong with the finances, Mike knows it before I do.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as like the day-to-day operation of the store,
you're pretty much owning it all. You and Steven.
Yes, correctly. If something's off, I'll know about it. I could do a truck order without stepping foot to the store. I did one this morning.
He did this one this morning.
Yeah.
Really?
Steven did the truck order, but I look over it.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, I think we might need less this or more of that. I did one this morning, before I came here. Because it's like, I'm more and again, not that he's done anything wrong, but again, my way of doing it works best for me.
Right. And you got some more experience than he's got. He's still learning.
Just a little bit.
But he's a good kid.
Yeah, he's a very, very good kid. Very good kid.
Impressive.
And he's grown so fast. For someone his age to be at that level of understanding other people, his own age.
Well, he's reading a lot.
And he's reading a heck
of
a lot right now.
He's doing what I wish I would have done at that same age. Yes.
Yeah, so
oh my God,
it's amazing.
He's killing it. He's going to be amazing. Yeah. You just got to stay with it. And I think he is. I mean, he's just very disciplined.
Very disciplined. And that's what I tell him all the time. I'm like, regardless of what's going on in your life, as difficult as things were between you and I at the beginning, we've gone through a different level in life right now. Anything you need, whatever you need, talk, whatever, call me.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm better than you in any way, but I think I got you by about 30-something years. I may have gone through a few things that you haven't gone through yet. So.
Mm-hmm. Does he know your full story?
He knows, no.
No.
No. He knows a lot about it, but he doesn't know. I believe you know more than he does because you've been to a couple of engagements.
Right. So the John Maxwell, I know they going to the Day to Grow and seeing, I believe it was the Chris Robinson little episode there, which by the way, I worked for Chris Robinson at one point, way back when. So it wasn't the best experience, but we'll talk about that. We won't talk about that. Anyway, so I know Chris Robinson. So he's a go-getter, obviously.
Yes,
John Maxwell wouldn't have him in the position he has him in. But he was talking about, the different, I'm pretty sure it was him doing the presentation. He was going, the different paths that you can go. You can go and do like a coach, or you can go and you can do a
speaker, or
maybe like
training. It's
training or like workshops,
right?
Like workshops, or all of the above kind of thing. Maybe I think he kind of even mentioned some people are kind of mixing it up where they're coaching,
to be
speaking,
honest,
and doing workshops.
Right. To be honest, to be in any one of those avenues, you need all of them.
Well, sure, because like the way I see it, if you're doing individual coaching and you're doing workshops, the reason why I mentioned those two separately, if you're not doing the speaking part, maybe you're not going out to speak as a revenue generator,
right,
but that speaking is going to drive revenue, whether it's workshops or individual coaching.
Correct.
So they all kind of, I guess what their mindset is putting these three things together. It gives you the tools to be successful, even if you're not just looking for speaking or just looking for coaching or just looking at doing like training. It's
good to have the tools of all three to be not successful, but to be good at any one of them is good to have all three in your back pocket.
Right.
Basically.
And so obviously you can't just go and jump in and do all three at once.
No.
Do they have like a recommendation on how to progress through the...
One of the things I know when I went through it, or I'm still going through it, is first thing, let's say you're more interested in the speaking. There's so much information about speaking that's on there, even if you're not the tracks. Okay, you're more interested in speaking, right? But the first track is you have to go through the first couple of lessons, right? The first couple of lessons basically give you the basic understanding of it all. Although you might just be interested in speaking, but you might still need to go through some of the classes that has everything to do with coaching. Okay, some of the things that might have to do with training to be able to focus more on the speaking engagements, But like I said, they'll give you all the nuggets and all the tools and all the bells and whistles to be the best speaker ever, but you may still need to take the classes or courses in training or in coaching to be the best speaker, And the thing is, there's so much more where ultimately I wanted to be a speaker, and I still want to be a speaker. But as I'm going through it all, then I'm like, whoa, there's so much more going on as a coach or teach, or, let me open this can of worm to see how much more I could get out of it, And as you open that and you realize there's so much more being this, let me open this, that's one of the things that they say all the time is like, once you know and you see where you want to go, there's an endless, like when I mean endless different avenues you could go through. If you don't stay focused, you will lose yourself. Just stay focused on what you really want to do and just keep going in that direction. And the thing is, you're never going to end anything. You continuously growing.
Well, John hasn't ended anything.
Okay, so
he admits it.
You're continuously growing. Don't ever feel as if
I've made it.
I've made it.
Right.
Or I haven't accomplished this yet. No, because your journey is going to be your journey. And my journey is going to be my journey. So one of the things
it's the journey.
It's the journey.
Right.
It's never been,
I think that's a good description of how John Maxwell looks at the entire program.
Right.
There's never an end.
It's never.
You might get certified. You might make some certain milestones.
Right.
But there's never
an end.
An end.
Yeah. You've never. I've made it. Okay. And then what?
I think that's what happens with some people, though, that are super successful. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't made super success yet. I'm just a little bitty old Kirk Francis, but maybe that's part of it, right? They get to a point and they're like, okay, I've made it. I mean, I've had some unfortunate friends that are no longer with us, and their kind of mindset was, I've got married, I had a kid, I've made money, I've traveled, I've done all that I want to do.
And then what?
and then next thing you know, they're gone. It's crazy. And I think that's what happens, maybe.
That's why I say I will never. I've said it to a couple of people. There's no such thing as retirement.
Oh, I'm 100%. I'm 100% agreement with you there.
I may not be doing this anymore. I may be retired from this.
Right.
I'm still living.
But you're not in a rocking chair,
right,
rocking your life away.
I'm still living. So why can't I do
I visit my mother-in-law, and I mean, for her, I think it's a good community that she's in. But I look at some of the folks there, and I'm just like, and I see them out on the front porch rocking their chairs, and I'm just like, I don't know if I could ever live like that. I would have to be severely disabled.
Right. You can't
to be in a position where I'm just ready just to kind of just hang out. And I mean, look at how old's John Maxwell?
John is like 78, 79.
Almost. And I mean, he's still doing these, and people are like, why is he still doing that?
Why not?
I mean, like actually there, one of the clients I just recently had, the owner, or I should pick, they're co-owners. One of them, I think, is going to be 80 this year. Good for him to keep going.
Keep going.
There's no reason. I mean, I don't know. I kind of, he never actually said, I think he only worked like 3 days a week. He's 80 years old. That's fine.
Right.
But the point is, he didn't stop. He didn't quit.
Right.
And then, he does his PT. I know he does PT. He calls it PT. He does training. I don't know what his exercise routine works like. Doesn't matter what it is.
But
at 80, he's still doing it.
I don't naturally.
You're going to slow down a little bit.
We're going to slow down.
Right.
A 20-year-old's body is not the same thing as a 55-year-old's body. So certain things.
I can't do the all-nighters anymore, dude.
I cannot do that anymore either. I used to be able to do it.
And then I'll drink every now and then. Like I had actually I did this Miami International Fitness Expo, and I had no idea. I thought I was getting some fruity Dunkin' Donuts drink, a refresher. I didn't know it had caffeine in it. And I'm drinking this at 10 or 11 o'clock. Actually, I think it was midnight.
What?
I'm having a refresher. I didn't get to bed till like 3 or 4 a.m. So I got to really watch that caffeine. I mean,
even your intake, you got to be careful what comes in because your body does not react the same way when you were in your 20s.
I could have had a Coke at midnight and fell asleep because I just... burning it at both ends, going all the time. I mean, I'll never forget in college. I mean, I think about that in college. It's so crazy. So I went to school in downtown St. Louis, and I was on the rugby team. I sucked, so I was never that great of a rugby player. But the point is, I did go to practice, and I'd ride my bike. I think it was maybe 10 miles from campus to the fields, and I'd go run around for a couple of hours, and I'd get on my bike and ride back, and then go eat. And it was just like, the bike ride was just to get to practice. I didn't, you're not even thinking about, and actually in hindsight, it was a great warm up and a great cool down. Cause I wasn't trying to kill it to get, I just ride the bike. Cause that's my transportation. I'm just going to go on the bike. I mean, I had a car. I don't know why I rode the bike, but I liked riding the bike. I love two wheels. So, but yeah, that's a 20 something, we can go ride 10. So I rode 20 miles plus the workout, plus the practice, and that was like nothing.
You can't. For you
I don't know that I could do that today.
Come on, man, it's not. And one of the things that up until about 4 years ago now, I used to do the 5K runs with Dan, and lately I before that every 5K that's going on, I'm like, yep, sign me up. Now. Dude, I got to train for it. I got to do this. before I just do it without even training, like fully training.
Oh, I'm with you.
I just do it.
I'm trying to think. How long ago was it? I did a half marathon up in Brooklyn, and I had hurt my knee and hurt my shoulder, and so I wasn't training. But I went to the doc, MRI'd it. Oh, you're good. Just don't do anything too crazy. I go, well, I'm gonna do a half marathon. He goes, well, don't like try to win any races or nothing. So I mean, my time wasn't great. I think I was sub 3 hours, so I was happy with that. I was thinking like 2 hours 40 something minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
Close to 250. 2 hours
good.
50 minutes, and but I was only like maybe 8 years ago. I don't know if I could do that. Now I could walk it.
I could walk it, but I don't want to do that.
We literally walked it just in Boston when I went to go to my daughter's graduation. I think her husband tracked it. I think we did like 13 or 15 miles, which is a half marathon, walking around Boston. So yeah, I can walk it, but I don't know about running it anymore.
I can't. Right now, I run after my dog.
Well, I'm too
and the
heavy
kids.
right now too.
Yeah.
I'm too heavy right now. It's too. I need to lose another 50 pounds. For real. I'm like at 260 right now. So before I start doing any kind of running,
you need to bring it
that
down
50 pounds is a lot of wear and tear on my knees.
And
I'm one coach, Coach Mike, called me a heel striker.
A heel striker.
So I run on my heels, not on my toes, which is I think even
good.
Worse. Because your foot acts as a spring when you're on your toes.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I just know it's better for me not to run until I learn how to run better or lose some weight. So I'm just going to go for the weight. But I like the bike. So, I mean.
You like a two-wheeler.
I like two wheels, yeah. So I've been working on it. So that's kind of my game. And I don't know. I'm probably not at a point you can see it yet, but I've dropped since the last time I saw you. So I'm getting there, getting my diet all dialed in.
And the thing,
you go to the gym?
I do not. My gym is in my garage, but I don't visit it as much as I should.
Dan just blows me away with his level of discipline. It's just crazy because his gym's in his garage as well. And there's something my wife and I will say, like one day, and hey, I'm saying this about her. She's way more disciplined than I am ever thought about. So when I say this is definitely the pot calling the kettle black. But she had dressed up, but she never made it. Mm-hmm, okay. But there's something that we say to each other. It's like if you dress up and you get in the car and you're backing out of the driveway, you're like 99.9% there. Yeah. You're there. You're there. And there's something about going to an outside gym for me that it's like if I can get there, I mean, and I always when I walk out, sometimes I don't get the best workout, but I say, you know what, that was better than zero. Better than zero.
Yeah, no, most definitely. We got the gym in the garage, but the past couple of months. We're building a door from the kids' bathroom to go to the pool. And it's been in the garage for a few months because we couldn't find a right contractor, somebody we spoke to, didn't work out. So that's been in the way, for lack of a better word, so that it's like, okay, my wife went out and bought the bike and bought the treadmill and bought this and bought that, and I got the bench and I got everything, but every time we're going through the garage, it's like, this big door's in the way and this, that, and the other. So it's kind of like excuse for not even going in there.
Yeah, time to get that door installed, Brill.
But thankfully, the door's going to finally be installed hopefully by this week. We just passed the inspection. We broke the wall down. We got everything going. So, knock on wood, once the door is out of the garage, we won't have any.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
For real.
I'm going to send you a text message.
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to send you a text message like at 5:30.
At 5 in the morning.
Yeah. Dude, time to hit that garage.
Yeah, exactly, man. So now we take the dog out for a walk, and that's our little exercise,
But that's good, though.
That's good, yeah.
That's good. You do that in the morning?
At night.
You do it at night?
Yeah.
So do you ever get any sunlight in the morning?
No.
Because you're already at the store?
I'm already at the store. I usually get to the store. I make it to the store before 6,
So that's a big thing for my wife. She always like, you need to walk the dog. She has to leave work at 5:30 to get to work. She's at work at 6 as well. So she misses sunlight. And so she'll walk the dog in the evening, but she always gets on to me. It's like, you need to walk the dog in the morning. And I let my son do it a lot of mornings. Unfortunately, too many.
Good for him. Good for your son.
Yeah, good for my son. But yeah, get out with the dog and get that sunlight. Like no sunglasses. Just that early, because the early morning is easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
But it gives you that vitamin D. So yeah. So I don't know. That's something else. I had some conversation with Dan about that too. About just overall health and wellness and fitness.
I got to thank you again. I know I said it to you on the phone the other day, but that cold bath, I'm loving it.
You're loving it.
Yes. Because, I mean, I don't get in there as much as you do, but I've been doing it for, I think, before the holidays, like November.
Yeah, stick with it. It actually gets, well, I'll have to give you a little bit of a downer. If you stick with it, like this morning I get in there, I'm like, I got to get that cold plunge. It's like it wears off. It's like it's not cold enough.
Yeah.
I get in the shower now, cold water, like straight on cold. It doesn't even feel cold.
It's not cold enough.
It's like room temperature water for me now. Literally. It doesn't, I've actually literally in the last week, I've made like a pivot where it was I'd say, don't be a pussy, get in there. I'll get in there front. I'll put my face in. I'll do everything. But it was like the back of my back was the spot that was like hard. Yeah. That was like, oh, now that doesn't even bother me. I just jump in there. Now when I was in Boston, it was cold.
It's different.
It was different.
Man.
It was different. It was cold in Boston. But here, like, what I'm trying to do now is go in there before the wife goes in.
Because she takes off what?
No, because the cold water sitting in the ground from the supply to the shower it's just a little bit colder. And so, yeah, I want to get I was actually looking at an ice maker. It's still going to be cheaper, I think, with an ice maker than with an actual. So I have a tub out on the pool, and I can fill it up with water, and put salt water in it because I think salt water will make it a little bit colder and make it stay a little bit longer. Well, no, I'm not Joe Rogan with 32 degrees. I don't know if I'm not at that level. I'm like at 53, 55, somewhere in there, which I want to say that's in 5 minutes at like 53 to 55. Don't quote me on it because I'm not the scientist. I have to rewatch the episode with Uberman. But somewhere in there, it's, you're hitting the right temp and doing like I can do 5 minutes and I might have to work back up to it. I was at 5 minutes at that, but it was getting crazy trying to keep the ice going, but I think I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm traveling for the next couple of months, but when I get back, for me, it just helps me. It just clears my mind.
It does, man. After you said it, I've tried it, and I didn't just go on 100% every morning, this, that, and the other, but I worked slowly to the point where I'm like, okay, boom. Like if I don't do it, I almost miss it. It's like,
so I tell people, I'm serious. You miss it.
It's like the challenge.
I don't go in the shower in the morning and go, oh, I want a hot shower.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Your body gets used. So this is my understanding with what's working on it is, so in the morning you want to warm up, and it's counterintuitive. So when you flash your body with cold, the body says, oh, I'm cold. I want to warm. And then at night, you actually take a hot shower or do sauna. And when the body's hot, it's going to self-regulate and cool. So when you go to bed, you're going to have a better night's sleep with a hot shower. So morning is the cold shower, and maybe cold plunge. I think you can still do the sauna in the morning. I think Rogan does does both sauna and
Sauna
ice.
and the cold.
Ice plunge in the morning. But he's like he's hardcore. He's like, I like to see the ice coming up off the bottom. I'm like, dude, that's like. So anyway, I did it in Colorado at Steamboat. We were at Steamboat Springs in the what do you call it, the hot springs. Mm-hmm. And so the river's coming by and it's rushing by. And I think they said it was at like 45 degrees. But then, yeah, Elena filmed it. I don't think I made it. I was wanting to make it a minute. I think it was like 40 seconds. And I had to get out. I mean, it was hardcore. And then I was disappointed because it was only like 45 degrees. But then I was reading, when you're in a moving river, that's 45 degrees. That's like really cold.
That's different than a standing still when you're just
in a tub. Yeah.
Right.
So,
what's that thing that these people do every year in the wintertime?
Oh, like the Polar Bear Club or whatever.
Yeah.
They just go jump in the water. Yeah, but that's just jumping in the water. I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally.
You watch the Wim Hof?
No,
you ever hear of him?
No.
So he's a Dutch man. I'm pretty sure he's Dutch, and he has like a breathing technique, and so part of
I saw something. Steven showed me something about him.
Yeah, so something with the breathing technique. Now I want to say that the breathing technique, you do the breathing technique and then you go into the water. So that gets you able to take the water. And then the other thing, there's something to do with the face. There's like some sort of nerve sensors in the face. That's why when I get in the shower, the first thing I do is I put my face in. And when you put that face in, it's like it's almost, this is the way I would explain it. It's almost somebody just turned up the heat on the water. Like somebody did an instant boom, and the water's not hot. It's not hot.
Right, no, it's just.
But it's definitely not as cold as it doesn't feel like when you put the face in, it does not feel as cold as it was.
Really is. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, the human body is just amazing.
Yeah, you're tricking your body into thinking it's not as cold as it actually is. If you
maybe, I don't know, something with the face.
Right, you hit your face first with it. It's totally different than when it hits your back.
But yeah, hitting the back. Whoa, that's.
Imagine if you would have hit the back first. You're not gonna stick your face in there.
I'm gonna run. Yeah. So anyway, we're getting off a little off topics, but I wanted to find out, like, so do you think you're gonna be wanting to move to the speaking path? Is that kind of, or do you think you're gonna eventually maybe bring on some of these other things, or because they give you all the tools, right? I mean, you could run a workshop right now.
Yes. I
mean, you have the workshop.
I have
all you do is facilitate it.
That's all I do. I currently, although I ultimately wanted to venture into doing speaking, and I do still, but for whatever reason, I want to coach. Because I feel like I will be more impactful if I coach. But naturally speaking, I feel if I speak, I will get the opportunity to get people to coach.
Okay.
You know, when I speak, because I'm not gonna, who's this random dude coming at me, or let me coach you? Who are you? Who are you?
Know? Right.
What? Why am I? You think I need coaching? Who are you? But if you see me speaking, you'd be more receptive towards me coming to you and be like, yo, I'd like to coach you.
Right.
I'd like to mentor you. I'd like to help you in areas that you may not have even thought that you needed help with. So that's.
What do you think about this format? Like, this is mine. This is my brand. This is my little format. But what do you think about doing a podcast and having guests on to pick their brain and talk about, I guess, coaching, or talk about techniques, or I don't know. What do you envision, like, if you were able to use this sort of a format? Would this be something that could help you also with coaching?
Most definitely, because like exactly what you just said. If I speaking with somebody that has more experience in that field than I have. Again, I'm just starting. So anybody else that's in that field has more experience than me, I'll be learning from them.
Sure.
You know, and me learning from them, me being able to pick their brains about things that I haven't even gone through yet is going to make me a better me to be able to be more impactful to whatever it is that I do in the future. And vice versa, there might not be another Brill around them, or that might be asking the questions that I may have for them. Or they might not even, they might not have had that opportunity to put out things that I might be able to bring out of them.
Right, of course. So, yeah.
So,
I mean, and then, I think I'm just going to dispel the myth here real quick. A lot of folks might say, well, does the world need another coach? And I'm just going to say it goes back to kind of Peter Hurley's example of the apple pies. Does the world need another apple pie? Well, everybody's going to have a different taste and a different attraction, and there's going to be people out there that can't stand me, but might love to be on your podcast and talk to you, and vice versa. There might be somebody that just sees you and go like, oh, I don't get that guy, but that KF, oh, I get the KF, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes us human.
It's exactly what makes us all human. You know?
I mean, it took me a little while to get past that with Peter Hurley. Like, does the world really need another headshot? I mean, like, why would people hire me instead of, why not just go hire Peter Hurley? Well, first of all, maybe they don't want to go to New York or LA. I think he might still do Dallas, but I know he's still doing LA and New York. I mean, maybe they don't want to go to LA and New York. I mean, for whatever reason, I mean, because his primary target is actors and celebrities and whatnot. But, yeah, I think that's the thing is I think you really have to get past that. A lot of people, I think they term that maybe imposter syndrome or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you have to get past that. And I think how I get past it is the sense of that, yeah, for whatever reason, someone's going to like you or they're going to like me and they're going to want to work with you.
It's not.
It really comes down to personality than anything.
All that it comes down to is personality.
And then if you vibe.
Right. I might be, okay, for example, this glass of water, okay?
He's going back to the glass of water.
Going back to the glass, okay? This glass of water, right? It might be tap water. It might be Dasani. It might be,
How does it taste? Because you didn't see where it came from. Well, you did see how it came. It came out of a pitcher.
But the thing is it doing the job that I wanted to do?
Sure. Okay?
Now, does it matter that it was you that gave me the glass of water? Or did it matter that it was your wife or your son? But my thing is this, is it doing the job? Now, your wife might have given me the glass of water, right? But I don't know your wife, nor do I know your son as much as I know you. So I might just be more comfortable with you giving me the glass of water, Right. So you get what I'm saying? Because I'm comfortable. So again, me doing this with a random person that's not vibing with me, they might want to vibe with you more.
Right.
They might even pay more to vibe with you than with me. You understand?
Sure.
Just because it's the vibe, So
right.
That's what it's about, man. Because does anybody need any more coaches, any more speakers? I think so, yes.
Well, I think so too. Yes, too, to the sense of I think maybe they just haven't found that person that is resonating with them for whatever reason. Yeah, they've seen Tony Robbins, they've seen John Maxwell.
I may say the same thing someone else has said to them before, but
it won't resonate.
But I've seen it, or after speaking with me, the same exact thing that they've heard elsewhere makes way more sense than when John Maxwell said it.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
Right.
For whatever reason. I don't know what it's going to be, or they might not even understand why, but for whatever reason, I said something that woke them up to see things differently.
Okay.
That person needed
So how far along are you in this trajectory to becoming a coach, like where are you at like today?
I am currently, Steven was my, for lack of a better word, my guinea pig.
Okay.
Without even knowing he was, but he was. And I didn't even know he was up until recently, where I'm like, dude,
like I've been doing this stuff.
I've been coaching this guy for the past 5 years.
I'm now reading John Maxwell
Right.
and realizing,
I've been doing
this.
You know, and in the business that we're in with the Hugh Magoo's and Five Guys, and I've actually been doing this with more than just one person. Unintentionally, I've been that person that these kids look up to or rely on.
I just wonder because Dan's certified.
Yes, Dan is certified.
Is it you just kind of feeding off of Dan a little bit, or is it just radiates out of Dan?
It radiates so much out of Dan, where even before I knew he was into it, I was like, I don't know what he's doing, but I want to be like Dan when I grow up. I'm older than him, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but he's quite a bit younger than both of us.
Yeah, and then but doing my best to understand Dan is motivation enough for me to go in that path that I'm going through right now, because I feel like the Dan that I know and the stuff that he's done is helpful to a lot, and if I do a fraction of the stuff that he's done, I'll be happy.
You're going to make an impact,
because I've made an impact.
Yeah, he's making, what is it, a 4th trip now to Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
We just did a small little video segment for him.
That's awesome,
for that.
Man.
So yeah,
killing it.
Yeah, that was so cool that those kids are going to get to experience that, and these are all top players. So it's a good experience. He's
allowing these kids to have experiences that they probably would have never had.
Right? And I don't know if you know this or not. It's through the YMCA.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the YMCA invented basketball. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. Here, let's just double check that. I'll do a little fact check real quick on myself and see, but I'm pretty sure I have that right. Did the YMCA invent basketball? What ChatGPT says, yes, the YMCA did invent basketball. Specifically, is invented by Dr. James Naismith. I'm probably butchering the name, a Canadian physical education instructor at the YMCA International Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1891.
Wow.
He was asked the tasks of creating an indoor sport to keep athletes in shape during the cold New England winters. Using a soccer ball and 2 peach baskets, he created the first version of basketball with 13 basic rules. Yep. The first game was played December 21st, 1891. So it spread throughout the YMCA network across the U.S. and internationally. Yeah, the thing that was really cool about that was Dan was talking about with these kids so 2 of the kids that were there had already been on the trip. And they're like, yeah, I mean, if we know how to play basketball, it don't matter if we can't speak the same language or not. We can make a connection. And then here they are with these kids from Puerto Rico. They don't speak English.
These kids Spanish.
These kids don't speak Spanish.
But they're playing basketball.
They're connecting. Because they can play basketball.
Right.
And Dan was even saying, I mean, it was pretty physical game that they had going on. It was pretty heated. And after the game, they're just like,
they knew how to communicate with each other because they have that one thing in common.
That thing in common. So that's that was awesome. Interesting to hear him because, I mean, that's the thing that I feel that, if you parachute, and that's what we drew out of this. I'm really to me, that's a big one for me is I didn't know that you've ever jumped out of a plane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What's the actual term for that?
Jumping out of a
plane.
Going skydiving.
Skydiving, that's the word. So you've gone skydiving, and I never knew that about you before. So that's really cool. So, if someone else is watching this and they hear it and they know that you've done 3 or 4 jumps, then that's a connection.
Come along for the next jump.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing that's neat about, I think that's what's helpful with us humans is if we can find that little common denominator and then make that connection. And it's really nice. So you're just getting started. You want to speak and coach because you're speaking to get known to do the coaching.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think I maybe got sidetracked. How close are you to like? Are you have Steven, it was your guinea pig. Steven, are you ready to take on a client right now?
I would love to take on a client right now.
Okay,
but just as we're doing with this, if I do take on a client, I'd probably would have to experiment together because it would be my first official client where we're gonna document whatever we need to document, and how do I put this? Where we're not programming, but structure everything properly. Because before I was doing it, not knowing what I was doing, not even knowing that I was doing it, up until later on, and I realized, oh, I've been doing it. But now we're gonna have to be we'll have more of a structure of it all.
What are you able to share a little bit about maybe what that looks like?
Currently, I'm following the John Maxwell procedures.
Okay.
I haven't really put together my own yet, so I don't want to.
So you would guide somebody through what John Maxwell
is doing,
recommends.
Just as
that way
Dan
you have a structure already
right,
and a framework to work with.
Exactly, because as Dan.
So is that like what's the commitment to somebody that says I want to do this? And what does the outcome look like?
Oh, you'll end up being the better person for yourself. You'll achieve. Okay, you'll have a goal. You'll have more of a clear version of what your goal is. Instead of, one of the things that I always say is, don't think of seeing somebody else's achievement thinking it's yours. Like, create your own achievement, create your own goal. And sometimes a lot of people would want to be the next LeBron James or the next Jordan. Why don't you just be the best Steven?
I see. I wasn't quite following you.
Right,
okay, I get you now. Like for me being a photographer,
right,
I don't want to be the next, say, Peter Hurley or whatever. I just want to be the KF.
Exactly. Be the KF.
And be the best KF I can be.
You can be. And I'll help you dig in and think more potential in yourself that you didn't even know existed.
I got an idea. I want to say it right here on the show. Why don't I be that number one person? And we can document it.
I love this guy, man. Most definitely will. Most definitely. I'd love to be that.
And we can have more meetings like this.
Yes.
I mean, I'm okay sharing. And some people might not be as willing as me just to share. And I just shared you, another coach of mine, Tim Denning. So Tim Denning, calling you out. I was pissed. I'm not going to deny it. I was silent for a few months. But reality set in, and you were right, and I was wrong. So there I said
it. See, that's the humbleness, man.
It sucks. I actually wrote, and I'm going to be releasing him, Tim. This is actually coming at a good time. You don't know this. I think you might have saw. I put the post up and I showed it to you
earlier. Yeah,
that I just posted today. Because I thought, okay, June 1st, I got to do this. I actually wrote 14 posts on why Tim's wrong. And that wasn't that sounds like that's probably a good title. That's actually not that's not the title of the post, but it was like it'd be interesting for you to read them too, because there's all these excuses on why I can't follow his program. Oh, like he's not being real, he's not being reasonable, life happens. Stuff gets in the way, just like that door's in the way for you. But you called it out. You said it's an excuse.
Yeah, it's an excuse.
You can sit there and do squats. You don't need your equipment. You can go walk. You don't need your equipment.
It's an excuse.
You can do push-ups. You don't need any equipment to do push-ups. You can do planks. Don't need any equipment to do planks.
That door.
You can do Supermans on the floor. I just saw that, where you can do Supermans on the floor, and all you need at most maybe is a yoga mat. So, so I took the time out. I was really mad, and I took the time out to write 14 posts about, and looking back at these posts, they never got posted because I went and reviewed them, and I started second guessing. I'm like, dude, you're just making excuses, man. So what Tim's about, and so that's kind of what I'm going to coach you on. What Tim's about is you got to post every day, no matter what. It's like lifting weights. It's like you got to exercise that muscle. And if you don't exercise that muscle, you're not going to be out there. And if you're not out there, no one's going to know you. And if nobody knows you, you're stuck in obscurity. So that's kind of my whole thing. You got to be stuck. Yeah. You got to fight the obscurity.
You got to be out there to be seen.
You got to be out there to be seen. Yeah. I mean, it's that simple. And if you're not seen, no one's going to know about you. Nobody knows I exist.
Scream and yell and wave, but nobody even know to look your way.
Right. And then there's, we have a lot of techniques that we've figured out that, and we're still figuring out, just like you're still figuring out, but there's techniques to, how to get seen. You can't just post either. Like we actually have I have clients of mine that we actually post for them, but they don't do anything with them. And because they don't do anything with them, nothing happens. We're not moving the needle. So because of that, we've reinventing this and we're going to figure out, what the game plan is. But that's kind of what we had already talked about is helping you with that. And then helping with the what I'm calling authority is establishing authority. And
I like that though. I really do like that. Like earlier when you said it, I'm like,
yeah,
authority,
right? Because that's what I mean. And I just go back to it because I was learning how to be a headshot photographer. Peter Hurley obviously has authority out in the world. There are people, because he's made so many videos and he's out there all the time. He posts all the time. I want to say if he's not daily, he's near daily. Some people aren't on the Tim Denning game plan. Tim Denning's every day, no matter what. Every day you have a post. I think he just had a baby or is having a baby. He's not going to miss a beat. Trust me, he's not going to miss a beat.
Every day.
I mean, unless he's in an accident in a coma in the hospital, it's going to have to be something like what happened to him. And that's actually what you want. It's amazing. I remember talking, I can't remember his name, but I remember talking to somebody here in South Florida and they were on Facebook and they posted every day and they had a small following. I don't think it might have been thousands. I don't think it was tens of thousands or millions, but it was a big enough following. I forgot what happened. There was some event happened in his life and he stopped posting. He was getting phone calls and that's where you want to be. So, authority doesn't have to mean, I want to define that for everybody. Authority doesn't mean you have 1 million followers. No. It doesn't mean you have 10,000. It just means you have probably a few dozen or a few hundred of people that really care about what you're saying and understand your message and are absorbing your message and putting it to practice, and they keep tuning in more. More.
And the thing is, like you said, when something happened, if something happened, but when your behavior changes, somebody's gonna know.
Yeah, they're gonna he was like getting direct. He was getting DMs. He's getting like, hey, do you know his phone number? Has somebody talked to him lately?
Right. Are you okay?
Are you okay? Because what's going on? They're posting that consistently. They had built that discipline up that it and that's kind of where if you're in this space and that's what you want. That's what you want. Yeah.
That's what you want.
And this morning I did it and it didn't take that long, and I think I spent maybe 20 minutes on it.
Do it.
So maybe that's too long to spend on it. I don't know. Well, I wrote those other. I mean, I literally have probably. Okay, now we got to go in another direction. So I interviewed at the Miami International Fitness Expo this guy, Too Nice, who's part of History Makers. So Too Nice, thank you. And I'll probably get this wrong. I'll have to check my notes here. I think he said if you're not down, you're not around, or something like that. And the point he's trying to make is that you can't just hold it. You can't just, like, I literally have thousands of amazing photographs I've never shared with the world. Why? Why? And now we had a whole podcast about this. You know, some of those are like, well, that's mine and I'm holding on to it. And I think that's okay. As a creator, I think that's okay. Like that one I want to hold on to. But also as a creator, I think you need to share. And I think, I'll be honest with you, I think it's basically fear. You know, fear of rejection, fear of...
Can I ask you, why do you create?
I love to create. Why do I create? I love to create.
What's the point of your creation if no one else is seeing it?
Like we mentioned, Mr. Brainwash. I don't know. Are you familiar with Mr. Brainwash?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, he taped all these videos, like video after video of all these guys out there doing graffiti, and he never shared it. And apparently the video's not very good. I think what's Banksy tried to put some of it together or something with them. I don't know.
Didn't work out.
But then, we got, was it In Through the Exit Door or something movie that came out that showed some of it. So you get to see like, it's not the best in the world of the video footage. Why do I create that? That's an interesting question. I had to ponder that one for a minute.
Yeah, and you don't even have to answer that question right away. It's why do you create?
I get personal satisfaction, personal joy. Some of the best creations are the ones that I get to share, that I do share, but some of those sharing are somewhat private, but that's okay. Like, I got two examples that come to mind. I was, where was I? San Diego, driving around on, maybe it wasn't San Diego, maybe it was somewhere else, but it was on the Pacific Coast Highway there, right on the coast. And I pulled off, and I can't remember if my family was with me or if I was by myself. I had my camera with me, and my kids were with me. I remember my kids being with me, and I took some pictures of my kids, and I took some silhouette pictures, which I thought turned out pretty cool. And I don't know, somebody was there with a camera, and they're like, "Oh, what'd you do?" And I showed them, like, "Oh yeah, I did this," you know, and it was a silhouette, and they're like, "Oh my God, I want to know how to do that." And I don't know, I forgot the reason why I needed one of my lenses. They happen to have a Canon. I had a Canon system. So I'm like, "Are you okay if I take the lens off?" And I go, "You really need my lens to do this." I forgot what the limitation of their lens was, but they had some sort of a limitation. And so I threw my lens on there, set the camera up. And I'm like, "Yeah, here it is." I go for it. And they go, like, "What do you mean go for it?" I go, "Take some pictures. I got all set for you." And I took a few of them as a group, and then they took some more and just left the settings there. And I go, "Let me know if you want help, like putting it back normal." And they were just blown away. And that is kind of, I guess, part of why I like to create
but you see, and someone was blown away by something that you weren't even thinking of. Like you were doing it for you, the family, and this, that, and the other, but a random person was just blown away. I bet if you were doing it to try to blow someone else's mind out, it wouldn't have been as impactful.
No. In fact, there's a better story. I shared this one at Too Nice as well. When I was in San Diego at Balboa Park, and I'm trying to take a picture of one of the fountains there. And one of the techniques that you can do is you can set your camera up to do a timed exposure, and it's a little trick. People walking, if it's timed long enough, they disappear, and you can take a picture of the water fountain, and there won't be any people standing around. Unless, if somebody's sitting at the edge of the water fountain having lunch, it's not going to work. But the people just milling around, walking around, it'll work. And so I had set the camera up on the tripod, and my wife had called, like, "Hey, what you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm walking around Balboa Park, taking some pictures." And about that time, some woman came and set her tripod up. She's with like a photo group on a photo walk. and set her tripod up literally directly in front of my shot, blocking my shot. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, you're not taking a picture, you're on the phone. I'm like, actually, I am taking a picture and you just ruined it. I go, the camera's on. I go, look, the red light, it's recording right now. Oh, and then she kept arguing couldn't admit her ego was too big, couldn't admit that she was wrong. And my wife's like, just walk away. It's not even worth it. So I walk away and I find this woman with 2 kids and a friend. She's pregnant with a baby bump. She's got these 2 young little kids and they're trying to take a picture together. And I'm like, hey, do you want some help? And she's like, sure. And I go, I took the picture with her camera that she had and it wasn't really good. I go, I just remember what I said. I go, this just is not going to do. If you let me, I go, I'm a professional photographer. Can I take your photo with my camera? And I go, I'll send it to you. She's like, sure. She was game. So I was like, cool. I had all my speed lights with me. And I go, and I just remember, I go, this is going to sound strange, but if you want this to look better, I need your kid's t-shirt. He had a white t-shirt on. We need his t-shirt. So we did his white t-shirt, and I had her friend hold the speed light, put the t-shirt in front of it to soften it so it wasn't hard light. And we did a whole round of photos. And come to find out, her husband's in the military. He was deployed. He hadn't seen the baby bump at all, just the little selfies and stuff. And so I should just take it up, and since I think I can do this, we'll see if we can do this. And so I was able to do that photo for her, and she was just loved it. And
you see, when you do stuff like this without even,
but it all started from that woman with the ego.
With the ego. So even,
but see, I let my ego go.
Even with a negative experience.
And who won?
Okay,
I won. I feel like I won.
Of course, you won. Even with a negative experience, it could be turned to be so good and so positive, you know?
Yeah. I call it the Balboa baby bump, I think is what I call it. Or is it under personal projects? I don't know. See what we have here. Not personal projects. I'll find it. It's the portraits, maybe. Yeah, Balboa bump. Here it is. So here's the shot that I really thought turned out amazing. I'll have to just download it. No, actions, download. Yeah, here's a download.
And look at that, man. Her husband was deployed, never seen the bump, and then got a professional photographer, you know?
Yeah, let's see if we can. I don't know how well it shows here on the screen. So that's the picture. Yeah, this blouse she had was like, I don't know, it wasn't the best outfit in the world, but we.
That's awesome, though.
And then, yeah, it's just she got a nice portrait
awesome,
made, which I think all we had was an iPhone at the time, and I forgot what year this was, but and then I think actually. So maybe they had obviously they had another T-shirt. We had a white T-shirt. Somebody gave up a white T-shirt. So there she is with the 2 boys. So that's what we did. And we took a few, I mean, there's a whole series, but anyway, right. I worked with her like for, I don't know. I was there for an hour while we had the light. We were losing light. I mean, it's dark.
Yeah, I know.
And even as much as I tried to soften the light there, it was kind of, I think the other shot, the light should be softer because we had the T-shirt or something. Let's see this other one. I think this light might be soft. Yeah, see how this is a little bit softer. A little bit softer.
You know what?
On the edges.
This lady's gonna remember you for the rest of her life.
Hopefully.
Her husband's never met you, but. You know, it's like, wow, I'm sure he was thankful you were able to be helpful to help having him seeing the baby bump, you know?
Yeah. So it was in Balboa Park, and I don't know. It was just, it actually made my day better, right? And when you share yourself like that. So I don't know if those are even posted because I mean, Actually, I didn't check. And usually I have these marked, do not share.
Look, and I wanted to kind of end on me asking you that question about why do you create, is one of the things is the fact that with your trained eye as a photographer, right, you'll dissect your work and see a million things wrong with it.
Oh, yeah, I still don't like those pictures.
But guess what? To me, that's not a photographer. I'm like, dude, that's my Picasso.
Right.
But yet you choose not to share it. And how dare you stopping Bob's Picasso? You understand? Like, why are you holding? Although I do understand earlier when maybe your work is not the greatest and this, that, and the other, but to maybe not to 50 people, but to that one person, it might be a life-changing experience.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason, you
Right.
don't even understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
You know?
I know. I have, there's hundreds, if not maybe even thousands of photos that are, from a scale of 1 to 10 are probably at least above a 5 that I probably should be sharing.
And that's with your trained eye, you say that. You
Right.
know? And then imagine somebody that's not seeing everything, that all the imperfections, that you know of to look for.
Right. It's usually,
Your
just
level 2 photo might be somebody else's best thing ever. You know what
Sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
So, don't-
and they still get enjoyment out of it.
Right.
Even being a level
Right.
2.
Right.
It's like, when you get on your bike and you're out riding your bike, and some of the guys here in South Florida on A1A, they get a little crazy in their little groups. And I think to myself, I go, dude, are you in the Tour de France? I mean, I bet you none of you could even and I'm talking about they call them A groups, the ones that are doing, 25, 30 miles an hour here in South Florida. I mean, I can't keep up with them. They're that fast. But I'm saying if there were some Tour de France guys in that group, they'd be in the back having trouble to keep up.
Trying to keep up.
Trying to keep up. You're right. But they're all, puffing their chest out and they're all, it's like,
Yeah,
and I guess that's what, so it's really, I need to apply that same logic to myself in
Right.
a way. Yeah.
Allow your worst to be someone else's greatness. That's what I'm doing with me.
Right.
I'm
Because you're not
allowing-
John Maxwell.
I'm not
right
John
now.
Maxwell, but I have to accept the fact that I am Brill. I'm never going to be John Maxwell.
And you have something to offer.
And I have me to offer,
Right.
my story, not John Maxwell's, but my story. So it may not resonate with you, but it might resonate with him in a way that I might not be able to understand or explain.
Right.
So I've held on to it for a while.
And I think that impact, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you just impact one person.
One person, that's what matters. One person at a time.
Right.
It might be one person every 3 months. It might be one person every year. But
I mean, you've already impacted Steven.
I've impacted
Look
people,
at Steven,
Right.
where he's at.
Right. And when you impact people without even knowing you've impacted them up until you're like, whoa, I did. It's like, wow.
Well, I look forward to working with you. I think you accepted that challenge.
I did. I love challenges, man.
And we can document it.
Yes, most definitely.
That might be good for both of us.
That is going to be good for the world. It's going to help me get my first step before I start them.
Right.
I love that.
All right. Well, great. This was a good session, and thanks so much for making the drive. Brill drove like how many hours?
About an hour and a half.
An hour and a half to be. Yeah, we live pretty far away from each other,
But it was worth
but
it.
we're still close.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it.
Okay, cool.
I
I'm
enjoyed
glad to
being
hear that. All right, so we'll be putting this out, and then we'll be in touch. I like to
definitely.
do a shake hand here.
Definitely.